The historic Stoics have been recognized for a many number of things, one of which used to be their inner resilience, the ability to stay calm in adversity, to discover a way ahead when confronted with obstacles, and to create a philosophy of living that helps foster an immunity to letting exterior events erode their peace of mind. The Stoics were now not surely tutorial philosophers. They had been in search of a practical way of wandering and residing that would naturally lead to happiness and flourishing. Their efforts have left us with some of the most practical wisdom from the historical world. And we're going to use these core Stoic standards today to discover out how we can enhance the equal type of lasting resilience in our very own lives. Rule number 1. Act according to your values, not your moods. Stoic Principle. Virtue ethics. The historical Stoics believed that advantage is the only desirable, and that vice or baseness is the solely evil, and that it is the potential to act with virtue even when we are tempted to act otherwise, that separates a right man or woman from a terrible one. This skill that we ought to make each and every effort to act in alignment with our virtues and values, and now not let our immediately emotional state dictate how we act in the moment. In Stoicism, happiness is discovered via persistently behaving in alignment with virtue. When we act with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, the 4 Stoic virtues, we naturally set ourselves on a route to success and happiness. In contrast, when we act in opposition to these things, via laziness, taking advantage of others, ignoring what we understand to be right, bending to our impulses, or performing unfairly, we erode our own well-being and sink into unhappiness. So before making a decision, particularly an emotional one, ask yourself if it aligns with your core values. If it doesn't, reconsider the action and suppose about how you would act if you were in entire alignment with your values. Rule number 2. Embrace adversity as a teacher. To the Stoics, adversity used to be a herbal part of life. It comes and goes as it wishes, regardless of whether or not we favor it or not. And given that we can't avoid adversity, the next quality aspect is to look for the desirable in it rather than shrinking from it in self-pity or frustration. Every mission has within it a lesson to be learned, some knowledge to impart, and a silver lining that can assist us reframe the hassle and discover the great way through it. These things are up to us to find. But when we strengthen the habit of surely looking for them, we not only defend ourselves from becoming victims, however, we additionally build the habit of shifting ahead with a resilient mindset. The historical Stoics frequently likened life's challenges to wrestling an enemy or working out in a gym. Just as our muscular tissues require resistance to grow, our persona requires challenges to strengthen. Epictetus once remarked, "Difficulty indicates what guys are." Therefore, when a issue falls upon you, have in mind that God, like a coach of wrestlers, has matched you with a tough younger man. Why? So that you can also become an Olympic conqueror. However, it is no longer done without sweat. So, like Epictetus, appear to adversity as a supply of growth. While it might also be uncomfortable, if you deal with it as a trainer or a trainer, you will locate the lesson and ignore via for the better. Rule 3. Understand the dichotomy of control. Picture 2 circles, one internal, the other. The internal circle represents our domain of control. The outer, a substantial landscape of life's uncertainties. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, taught that an awful lot of our suffering can be averted when we research to distinguish between the two. The inner circle. Here lie our judgments, decisions, desires, actions, beliefs, and values. A circle we can choose to govern through will, or that is chosen for us when we reject that responsibility. When we take delivery of that we have business enterprise over this part of our lives, we begin to step away from allowing the world round us to have an impact on our actions and reactions. We turn out to be much less tethered to the winds of the world pushing and pulling us to and fro, and begin to captain our own ship, the outer circle.
Beyond our judgments and our movements lies everything else. Events, outcomes, different people, our reputation, the economy, the weather, both the unpredictable and the external.
If we attempt to locate organization in this outer circle, we will be attempting to maintain lower back the tides. It's a futile task and one that will absolutely reason frustration, self-doubt, and even anger. It reasons these feelings because remember what we do. Everything in this outer circle is outside the reach of our control and will consequently unfold despite our efforts. The distinction, by making a distinction between these 2 circles. The Stoics locate peace in accepting the matters outside their control, and they locate agency in understanding the place to focal point their power to enact change. Rule 4. Cultivate inner tranquility. There is a Stoic principle referred to as apatheia, Now not to be burdened with apathy, which implies indifference or insensitivity. Apatheia, in this context, capacity freedom from avoidable or irrational passions and emotions. The Stoics believed irrational emotion to be a symptom of mistaken judgment and made every effort to work toward emotional equilibrium through making positive our internal judgments are practical and reasonable. This can be carried out through Socratic questioning, not permitting the exterior world to disturb our inner peace. See the section above on control.